Some of the benefits of Taekwondo itself is it helps operate, the lungs more efficiently, like in breathing capacity, concentration. One of our elements of being better martial artists for techniques, okay? It also enlarges the blood vessels, making them more pliable and reducing the resistance of blood flow.
One thing that I like about martial arts is the breathing and the focus really helps a lot with displacing pain. It helps a lot, because over time, it becomes a habit for you. It becomes very instinctive and it becomes very natural for you to practice these habits because it becomes a lifestyle. And you see women using it to displace pain during childbirth.
The thing that I love about martial arts is that you're not only moving and getting, your physical movement in, but you're focusing your breath, you're focusing your mind, you're getting discipline, you're learning a skill that can actually save you and reduce your stress.
People that practice martial arts and the act of manipulating objects or manipulating people are the only times when we see brain growth across all of those borders. So that if you're able to do martial arts and do it on a regular basis, they also see that those folks are more likely to be able to do crossword puzzles better, to do music better.
Martial arts can get you stronger, can get you healthier, can get you stronger physically and also mentally, because this is a way to get a much higher level of patience. And if you're patient, you have the perseverance, you can accomplish more. When you accomplish more, actually you become a happier human being. Hello everyone and welcome to Polish Your Life. Today we're going to talk about martial arts and healthcare and how a combination of those two is going to help you get not only healthier but also stronger, not only physically but also mentally. And today we're going to have a conversation with some amazing people. We have an amazing guest as well. I'm Polish Mike, the group organizer. You can also see here Ryan Diener, the face that you already know, one of the co-hosts, acupuncturist, lead acupuncturist at Holistic Health Associates in Frederick, Maryland. We also have another face you already are familiar with most likely, and that is Dr. Todd Johnsonbaugh, chiropractor in Columbia, Maryland at Dubs Rehab Center. And we also have our main guest today, and I'm super proud to introduce you. Our main guest today is celebrating his 32 years of practicing martial arts. Currently holds a third degree black belt in the International Taekwondo Federation of America. Current acknowledgement over the past weekend, he was inducted in the Martial Arts Masters of Martial Arts Karate and Kung Fu Hall of Fame. And I want you to help me in welcoming our main guest, Instructor Alvin Plummer. Welcome, Alvin.
Hello. Thank you, guys. It's a great honor and a privilege to be on your show, sir. Definitely. This forum is amazing, and I've been blessed. And thank you so much for your kindness.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So, Mike, I was the one that introduced you guys together. And Alvin, first I got to say congratulations, man, for the accomplishment this weekend. I was so excited. And I can't wait to see the video footage of that great performance you put for the folks at the induction ceremony as you got into the Kung Fu Karate Hall of Fame. So again, congratulations to you, sir. Awesome. So is karate martial arts like for everybody, or do I have to be super fit? Who is this and who is a good client for martial arts?
Well, sir, that's a great question. So let me take it literally. So this is the Bible of Taekwondo, which is called an encyclopedia, and this was found by General Chung Hee. And I happen to have as a gift one of the original volumes signed by him himself. Okay, right here. Wow. And as it stated before, your question, Taekwondo is a way of life, and pretty much it's for everybody. Okay, it was developed for everybody, for the weaker to defend against the stronger in that capacity. And it's one of the most martial arts and has the most women. So, I was a skinny kid getting bullied. My mom put me in there around like 4 to 5 years old, and I stuck with it. And it's been phenomenal for my physical, mental, and development.
Fantastic. like Ryan, now you're an acupuncturist. Did you start with a martial arts background also and then work your way into acupuncture, or do you have a little background there too yourself? I was just quick question for one of our other hosts, Ryan over there.
Yeah, I think a lot of acupuncturists do some form of martial arts and that's their kind of intro. So my background was studying Kempo, and that was more of a Japanese form. But there's so much overlap between all of these forms. They all have their own flavor, right, Alvin? But you can really see how they work together when you start kind of getting into them. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing to hear. So that's another surprise. One of my favorite Kempo stylists, his name was Jeff Speakman, and he was Taekwondo is definitely fistful art, definitely by definition. But also like Kempo is a way of, the formation of the hand techniques. Or another surprise, Dr. Todd actually knows sticky fingers, and we were at the privilege of actually exchanging techniques. So he's a premier in reference to understanding what we do. So like you said, it's a total synergy. So I'm elated to know that I'm a fellow martial artist on the on this forum. So this is amazing. I'm excited actually.
Yeah, I was able and privileged to watch this, and it was so interesting because you witness a chiropractic treatment, and that's another thing we're going to talk about is the combination of healthcare and martial arts in the context of preparing you and just making sure that you are at your peak performance and stay there. It was just interesting because we stopped filming the video and then Dr. Todd just says, okay, sticky hands. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? What's happening? And it was just pretty remarkable to watch that Dr. Todd is actually pretty experienced with this stuff, almost brand new to me, and just very, very exciting. I wanted to ask you, Alvin, about the practical implementation of martial arts, right? So we are talking on this forum, in this group, about healthcare collaborations, about the patience that it takes for the patient to actually get better, because sometimes you have to research, you have to make sure that you understand what that journey is going to entail and then actually execute, right? Don't give up and execute. And I know with martial arts, you have a lot of traits that are so important and so necessary. I wanted to ask you how martial arts helps you and can help the viewer in their life in the context of healthcare and getting healthier and better.
Okay, that's a great question, and I can totally relate. Personally, I had an auto accident back in 2010, which I did not know that would have actually prevent me from studying. But one of our greatest tendencies is indomitable spirit, which also involves the discipline of pushing forward. Now, some of the benefits of Taekwondo itself is it helps operate, the lungs more efficiently, like in breathing capacity, concentration. One of our elements of being better martial artists for techniques. Okay, it also enlarges the blood vessels, making them more pliable and reducing the resistance of blood flow. On the scientific, increases blood supply and also make body tissues and healthy and supply with more oxygen. So as you said before, as I was in chemistry biology class, oxyhemoglobin, it gives you more power. Power comes to be more centered and calm. Even the Bible says, be still, or breathing exercises, so from that point of view, correlated to, or when I'm getting treated from Dr. Todd, it makes me relax. I have to breathe, for your posture. You can't just stand in a stance and not breathe and just being, efficient. So if all the healthcare providers are watching, including my wife, she's an RN, how that connection, you cannot punch or kick or in a stance without using the proper breathing, exercises, so definitely that's one of the fundamental, essential benefits.
So let me just summarize that real quick. And then what you just said, Alvin, was that the execution of martial arts helps you tie better into proper physiology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
So when you breathe more efficiently in martial arts, it helps you learn that, hey, this is good breathing, and maybe I could practice during the rest of my life as well.
Yes. And the fun of the is also for concentration and balance. So breathing. Okay, imagine you're standing on a ledge, or you decided to become a rope walker, right? Can you imagine with your center of gravity and your balance, like what I've also learned from you, Doc, which is an essential way, without balance and improper breathing or posture, you see what I'm saying? Everything flows into synergy. Everything flows into harmony, or like water, you know? Water is an element of air, like oxygen. So it flows into that capacity, focus, concentration, breathing, you know, and all that thing is just an enhancement of, your training in martial arts, you know, and chiropractic, and also I would say acupuncture too, since we have another guest in the line who's a martial artist. So you see, that's the key: focus, posture, breathing, you know, concentration, focus, the proper technique. Yes, Doc.
Well, my martial arts days have unfortunately ended, but I'm open to starting them again. Just got too busy with other things, but I do have the background, and I love that what you're bringing into the picture, which is this relationship of the breath. So a lot of times, you know, we talk about the breath work also, just, you know, irregardless of whether you're doing martial arts or whether you're doing, you know, there's breathing techniques that you can do for health in general. So it's interesting, this connection, because, you know, we teach people to do breath work just by sitting down, you know, just laying down, sitting down. Maybe they have some sort of chronic pain, but when you're doing it with movement, there's clearly like a link that happens between the physical body and the mental body, because you have to think about the breath. Normally we breathe, we don't think about it, but you're putting some consciousness to it. So can you talk a little bit about the relationship of breath as a healing mechanism, you know, because what you're doing, are you teaching people to do breath work as well, or are you doing it specifically within the context of the movements? Tell us, you know, maybe expand on that a little bit.
Okay. Great question. Yes, essentially. So I'm always fascinated about one particular aspect of breathing. It's called Qigong. I was fascinated with Qigong when I got introduced to it a couple of years ago. And incidentally, Chichi Lu, which is also the gentleman that presented, if you go on my Facebook page, Alvin Plummer, you see one of the actors from a Kung Fu Hustle. He did a demonstration on Qigong, and I did not know that there was a factor of using it as offensively. You see what I'm saying? So as for like Kempo or Taekwondo, if you see an ITF practitioner, when we use our technique, it sounds like a hissing sound, but it connects. That's the breath control that you hear, and, you know, synchronizing with eye and hand coordination in that aspect. You know, so definitely it ties into that. As far as like you stated before, your technique, your concentration, you know, your mind clarity, your focus, you know, definitely. And I think even if you did it a couple of years ago, you still have that mental training. It's not just about kicking and punching. You see what I'm saying? Kicking and punching didn't just get me into the Hall of Fame, actually. You see what I'm saying? That knowledge, that mindset, that discipline, that's really what's essential, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about stress, right? Because everyone is affected by it. We have certain levels of stress that is always present, and then some of it is positive, some of it is negative. But when we talk about healthcare specifically, there are situations that sometimes we even say that life is basically, sometimes it's going to punch us in the face. And then how do we respond to it is going to be the key, because when that happens, and it will happen to pretty much everybody, that at some point is going to be a tough situation. So what I'm assuming is that being a martial artist, you are trained to respond a little bit different way to life situations, because there is some analogy to the actual kick in the face or the punch in the face that you can get. And I wanted you to let us know, maybe on an example, that, you know, maybe there's a life situation that otherwise you would behave this way, but because you're a martial artist, you are trained to maybe, you know, take a step back, evaluate what happened, and then respond with calmness, even if there's a lot of stress around. I think that's going to help a lot of people. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Martial arts actually build confidence, repetition. There's a famous saying by Bruce Lee, and anyone who knows me would know that this is coming. One of Bruce Lee quotes was, "I don't fear the man that practice 1,000 techniques, but I fear the man who practice one technique 1,000 times." Self-confidence. We have a thing in ITF Taekwondo called step sparring. It's a repetitive thing, or sparring keeps you in focus and keeps you in control. Self-control, courtesy, integrity, self-control, indomitable spirit are a big aspect of our physiology and our ideology, basically. So with these in mindset, you would learn to respond. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people have this myth, okay, I'm a martial art, I get punched in the face, should I kill person? No, definitely. Making a just kill is different from using your skills in that capacity. A lot of time people say, hey, you look kind of nerdy, you don't look like a martial arts. Fine with me. You see what I'm saying? What does a martial arts look like? Definitely. So definitely, you won't use your skills to show off or cause harm to any other people or something like that. That's what I teach my students and for my mentors. Master A, Master Fadagado, Dr. George Vitale, all of these, Grandmaster Matthews. I'm an elite masters in my connection that taught me over the years to respond efficiently to certain things, So definitely it is quite beneficial into controlling your techniques, controlling your actions.
Can you give us an example of like a life situation that something happens and then you actually think like you're like while doing martial arts, or you're thinking like you're practicing, but it's real life, and then how did that help you? I just want our viewers to imagine that there could be a situation like that in their life, and they can basically consider martial arts for life improvement, not just for the martial arts itself.
Okay. Well, there's been this situation. I'm from Brooklyn, New York City, and it's called situation awareness. That's what works for me. Preempt attack and responding to different things. Used to take the infamous trains in New York City, and at a point in time, you have this sixth sense that you can see. I've been in a car before. People come on, I see people taking a look at me. That's just as simple as me manipulating the situation. Someone wants to come and sit beside me or do something. Hey, what time it is? And then I'll go out to the next stop or switch carts or something like that. You see what I'm saying? It gives you that sixth sense of to not just be in a situation. For you to make assessments. I have one of my colleagues. She trained someone and taught her a self-defense technique. And incidentally, she was in a car and someone attempted to abduct her. But what she learned through martial arts, because we know the high rate of abduction these days, saved her. She actually used a pressure point in her defense to, save her life and
Wow.
made her go home to her family, especially ladies. I trained my wife, and my sister had another scenario that I trained more so for people that I work with. So it's not just about me. One of my sisters, she was very smart. She's come late nights in New York City, coming on the bus from night school, and these guys decided to jump on the bus for gunpoint. And she disarmed the guy and came home. And I'm like, hey, bro, this thing works. I was like, whoa. So definitely, you'll never know. Just to be prepared. When the military will teach you, or police or law enforcement will teach you what situational awareness. Definitely.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
It's a great thing, to be able to have these skills. And one of the things I know, Dr. Todd, you probably the same as I do. One of the things we really want our patients to do is become active. So many people need to be more active in our culture, and but to do it the right way. And the thing that I love about martial arts is that you're not only moving and getting, your physical movement in, but you're focusing your breath, you're focusing your mind, you're getting discipline, you're learning a skill that can actually save you and reduce your stress. It's like you get this whole system all at once, and we're just trying to get you to do a little bit of movement, And so I don't know, Dr. Todd, have you recommended martial arts to a lot of your patients? And if so, are there specific patients that do better with it than others?
Yeah, I recommend it a lot. And I was just thinking the other day, what was it? I was just, we were going back and we are just talking about situations where martial arts can help other folks. And I remember I had a patient that is a master of Tai Chi, and her partner was having a pushy salesman, like just keep push, she says, you know what? I'm going to have you introduce you to my partner. And then before you know it, she said, Todd, she Tai Chi'd this guy. And I go, what do you mean? She said, she took a pushy salesman, and before you know it, the pushy salesman was begging and reducing prices and doing everything. And she got us a great deal on her refrigerator. So it was kind of funny. We think of martial arts as protecting yourself from the world, but at the same time, sometimes it can protect you from a pushy salesman. So that was kind of funny. But I tell folks, I remember when we were looked at martial artists, do y'all ever see the research that says, hey, if you want to build your brain forever, and do this, if you like music helps build a certain part of your brain, or they say do crosswords as you get older to build your brain, or learn another language or something like that. Gentlemen, are you all familiar with some of that research that came across there? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they studied martial artists, and they said martial artists, people that practice martial arts and the act of manipulating objects or manipulating people are the only times when we see brain growth across all of those borders. So that if you're able to do martial arts and do it on a regular basis, they also see that those folks are more likely to be able to do crossword puzzles better, to do music better, to do language better. And the thought is the reason why is because they're better able to deal with gravity. And gravity is one of the biggest forces that you were always dealing with. And martial artists learn to relate better to gravity all the time. The opposing force that is always on us is gravity. And by learning to move fluidly, harmoniously, and coordinate that with your breath, oh my goodness, you can use less of your neurologic resources to deal with gravity, freeing up the rest of your beautiful brain to can create symphonies, talk with people in different languages, or maybe just bake that great souffle that you wanted to do. So I recommend martial arts or some form of martial arts to a lot of folks for that reason. Sorry for that long-winded explanation, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. And then Alvin, to you, I'm curious, what are the healthcare modalities that you recommend to your students the most, or that you use and have found really successful in, clearly with martial arts, you get injured, strains, sprains, bruises, things that you have to kind of rehab and heal. Obviously you go to Dr. Todd, that's a good choice. Are there other healthcare modalities that you found to be really effective for your students or for yourself?
Well, I have to go by personal experience, and I've used before. I always would speak with integrity based on personal experiences. But the most effective method is I've tried both ultimately. And for my martial arts friends, listen, guys, don't walk through or you kind of like hide the pain. Some of us, you think we're taught to be, to hide our pain or suffering or ailments. And over the years, especially my 20-year martial arts practitioners, but specifically chiropractic treatment and acupuncture are phenomenal. I think just as essential is for a basketballist to a I say this all the time, or a fire hose to a fireman in that capacity, or pretty much a sword to a swordsman or a ninja. You need chiropractic care and also acupuncture. They've helped me personally, especially chiropractic care, and find the right individual. That's why we're in this network that have experience. Dr. Todd, experience yourself, a martial artist, basically. You see what I'm saying? Not that you don't have to be a black belt, but have a unique understanding. Let me say this again, an understanding of the arts. You have some chiropractors who have no idea or have no exposure to martial arts. And that's one of here doing the connection between, or the synergy between these things. And this helped me tremendously, to every day. This is actually one of my go-to when I'm doing this is where I want to get back to my high side kick. And that's why I go to right here. You see what I'm saying? This is the levels that I want to go back to.
We got
And
a
I'm
lot of work, man. No, yeah, we can get there. That's gonna be fun. We love helping people with big, hairy goals. I love it. I love it.
So
That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, within the acupuncture and herbal world, there are very specific specialties, and so one of the specialties is external medicine. It's called Weka, and it's very common. It's very commonly used by martial artists in China. There's a lot of martial artists that actually become very proficient practitioners of Weka, which is external applications of plasters, herbal liniments, internal herbal medicines that help improve circulation to specific areas of the body, certain treatments from an acupuncture standpoint that are based on superficial musculoskeletal issues. And it's an area that I've been very interested in and spent a lot of time studying. We do a lot of these kinds of liniments and topicals and different things. And so we tend to see a fair amount of martial artists at our practice as well. But I think it's really a wonderful testament to the relationship between, healthcare and sport and activity and things that, we want to create really synergistic relationships, because, you can practice more as a martial artist when your body is in tip-top shape. And, and so it's the same, it's the same synergy when when you're in recovery as you are when you're in action. And so we're in recovery much more often than we're in action. So we want to take it very seriously and make sure we're doing everything we can to get that high side kick going.
Yes, definitely. Understanding the dynamics of taekwondo or karate. I also study karate, Tendo karate with Grandmaster Matthews. And, which taekwondo, we don't use real weapons, Tendo we do. But, it's that total understanding of the theory of power, the understanding the meaning of all your movements, hand-eye coordination, and just to choose the appropriate self-defense or striking or defensive tool for whatever circumstances, and just life generally. It's a way of life. I'm doing martial arts right now by connecting and focusing and concentrating and communicating and forming that harmony. Life is harmony. You don't have to, people think punch and kick every day. Your connection, definitely being aware of your surroundings and the people who make a difference in your life. And I really want this to work, because there's people out there like, wow, I didn't know this connection was there. I didn't know I could seek relief from my pain or suffering from martial arts. So I decided to hang up my belt because I got a knee injury or a back injury. You see what I'm saying? Guys, there's help. You can put your uniform back on. We can train again. You see what I'm saying? We can be 16 again.
And also, I wanted to ask you, Alvin, because a lot of people can get very inspired listening to you. You not only are an amazing martial artist, and otherwise you wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, and it must feel so amazing. At the same time, I want people to experience the way that you teach, the way that you speak, because you talk about being aware of your surroundings, about being present, about being patient. And if people are inspired by all this and they want to connect with you, and maybe they are local right here in Maryland, let them know how they can find you, how they can connect with you, and where do you train them?
Okay. Well, two methods right now. You can reach me on Facebook at Alvin D. Plummer, or you can find me on Instagram, and I will show you. This is my Instagram page right here. It's you guys see it from here, right? Okay, fame icon. Okay, on Instagram. Okay, and right now I'm in the Laurel area, Maryland. And also look out today. I will be launching the name for business Martial Arts Comprehensive Health, which is acronym MAC. As you can see, it just ties into martial arts, and it's a connectivity. So you can come if you're 100 years old and you need to learn how to defend yourself. You can come if you're as young as 3 years old. We have a program, we have a way if you want self-confidence, self-defense, physical, and, enhancement or whatever. We have the connection, we have the synergy, definitely. And to my 20 plus years practitioner, yes, also, please connect to us also, because we have Dr. Todd. You don't have to hang up your uniform. I know there's a lot of you who may be listening in that capacity, but there is help. And, so as for us to connect again. So practicing martial artists, it's Dr. Todd, we can join this amazing network or currently. So definitely, if you're injured, not injured, there is a way. Where there's an art, there's a way.
And one of the things, since you've given everyone, your contact, that's great. I think everybody should follow you. You've got a great presence on Instagram. I wanted to just follow up with one last thing, which was one other thing, which was you actually created kind of your own system. From you talk about it through Taekwondo, but you call it the octagon system. So can you talk a little bit about what makes that different and why someone should consider it versus going to any other martial arts system that's out there?
Well, the octagon system I developed, I'm glad you said that too, and I appreciate it. Taekwondo is a simple system of self-defense. You don't have to throw a flying side kick or something crazy. Just keep it simple. Especially I developed with the inspiration from my sister, who used basic, simple techniques to save her life. Okay, so just 8 basic techniques that I've crafted over the years, conglomerately from I've studied, I've crafted it into simplistic and more practical self-defense. You see, Taekwondo, the conversation with one of my masters, Master Rohina, ITF Taekwondo is actually a combative military martial arts. So it's very practical. And all the techniques are specifically formatted for self-defense. Okay, so definitely. So from that, I just took a simplistic formula and created it, and it's been working.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I think it's one of those things that, so many patients think something like martial arts, you really have to be, very fit, tip-top shape, ready to compete in a tournament or something like that. And I think this is a good example of someone who's put together a system that doesn't limit, who should be participating. Not that it should be limited anyway, but this is a good example of really putting emphasis on making, your a mission of making this accessible for everyone, which is beautiful.
All right, so we have another guest joining us. It is Alvin's wife, Janan, and we are going to be talking about some additional clinical benefits because Janan is she is a registered nurse and she is also a co-owner of Martial Arts Comprehensive Health. So Janan, welcome, and let's talk about some benefits. Ryan, I know you look like you have a question, so let's fire off the first question to Janan.
Yeah, no, I'm excited that Janan, that you're on and that you can help go into this, because one of the things that many people ask is what specifically are the physiological benefits that the body gets, scientifically proven when you start going through a martial arts program. And we would love for the two of you to just, we have the martial arts master, and now we have the RN on the line. And you two, I'm sure, have had many conversations about this together. So tell us go into a little bit more detail about all of the, some of the benefits that have been shown scientifically as you engage in martial arts as a student.
Yeah, so my husband does very well at trying to teach me a lot of the movements. But one of the things that has helped me a lot is the breathing techniques. And as an RN, and I work for a health plan, I see a lot of referrals for various specialties for, injuries that are sustained through everyday life, through car accidents, disabilities or traumatic injuries, loss of limbs. So you get a lot of referrals for these specialty services, where now you see a lot of these costs for healthcare are going up because a lot of spending is going to these specialty services and not so much during primary care, primary medicine. So one of the things that I like to, kind of teach a lot of the patients as an RN is trying to do preventative medicine and getting involved in things that are, that require a lot of movement, that help you with mobility, so that something that you can enjoy. People do yoga, people do Zumba, People do all types of activities where they, have build camaraderie with other people. But one thing that I liked about martial arts is the breathing and the focus really helps a lot with displacing pain. It helps a lot, because over time, it becomes a habit for you. It becomes very instinctive and it becomes very natural for you to practice these habits because it becomes a lifestyle. And you see women using it to displace pain during childbirth. You see people, a lot of times we have different types of medicine one is called biofeedback. Biofeedback is a kind of way to kind of control your body through controlling your senses to help reduce pain, which also helps you to relax. Those things help with breathing, can also help with mental health. We have a lot of stress in our daily lives with work. In America, our particular country is a lot of hustle and bustle. So one thing I like about martial arts, it kind of helps you step back and kind of cool down to refocus, helps you to focus on, other things outside of all the stimulation that we have every single day. With working with children, it's kind of a form of meditation. And one thing that I like in particular with Alvin is because of our faith, we institute a lot of our faith and a lot of our with our breathing. So that kind of helps with stress when we're dealing with work. I own a home care agency in PG County. It's a very stressful for me when I have healthcare workers who are injured at work. They can't make it to work. They get into car accidents. They can't come to work. So a lot of this can also be instituted into my practice so that I can help my caregivers as well. I'm going into people's homes. The self-defense is a very good part. A lot of these women going into homes for the first time, we don't know what we're going into. We have family members with sons or with other males in the home. Caregivers, females are coming in, and sometimes they're posed as a risk. They're uncomfortable. They're, refusing to go back to work because of sexual harassment or things like that. But once you, with the confidence of martial arts, it not only helps with the self-defense, but with your breathing. And when you're confident in yourself, it helps you with the healing because we need oxygen, right? Oxygen is a part of our cellular molecular activity. People who have anemia, the reason why one of the problems of anemia is the lack of oxygen being attached to your red blood cells. So the breathing helps with all of that. So as you have circulation in your body, all that oxygen is going to the right organs. It helps build clarity, which helps build your confidence, helps you to relax, helps with healing. And I don't want to keep going on and on. I feel like I'm rambling, but just, a lot of that helps, especially with people in stressful environments. When you're at the hospital and you're going to surgery or you're just coming out of surgery, you need those techniques to kind of help you displace the pain, displace the stress. But overall, there's so many different benefits of martial arts subconsciously that we're not even aware of. And so it's one of the reasons why I support him so much, because, even though we're doing something for fun and people are doing it for self-defense and to show off their skills, they don't realize how that lifestyle, definitely transcends to other areas of their life naturally,
Yeah, that's great. Alvin, have you seen, who do you see being the biggest beneficiaries? People who are, say, like weak and need to become stronger, or shy and it builds confidence, people who are very stressed and need to be calmed. What is it that you seem to attract, or what are the types that you seem to see the most benefit from?
That's a great question. That question reminds me of a question one of my masters would ask. But basically, I'm a people person. So every aspect, if in my former life I would be another Mr. Miyagi. So everybody comes. You see what I'm saying? I'm kind of like Santa Claus. Like everyone comes, whatever treatments. My faith in God reminds me, Jesus when he was walking this earth, and everyone comes for love. So my love for martial art transcends me. It's not just for me anymore. Me getting this award has a lot to do with the conglomeration of people around me and my new friends like yourself and Dr. Todd and Mike and my amazing wife just put together. So listen, if I cannot help, I can say, hey, look, Ryan, here's a situation, or refer to Doc. So together, it's a togetherness.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah. And I think, the first thing that you said was really interesting when you say, it's, there's a connection. It's everyone. You're a people person, and one of the things that's so beautiful about martial arts is there's a way that we talk about herbal medicine, where the highest order of herbs, the emperor order of herbs, are what we call adaptogenic herbs. Herbs that they can downregulate something or they can upregulate something. So that means if your body is let's just say, for the immune system, if your immune system is overactive, it helps to kind of bring it down. And if your immune system is weak and it needs more protection, you need strength, it can lift it up. And one of the things about the martial arts and being a people person and bringing in all of these different components and different people is that you can take people who have high levels of stress and it can benefit them, even if they're in good shape, and just the mental aspect can benefit them. And then you have people who are, say, maybe like not in great shape and they need to become better physically, and it can benefit them just as much. And it has this adaptogenic quality. And so it's like the emperor, order of herbs when you talk about martial arts that way.
Well stated. Non-traditional aspect on the application of holistic and natural curations is like one of the best things ever. And I'm just adored. It's kind of like the dream team of martial arts and holistic medicine, healing, chiropractic practices, medicine. You see what I'm saying? And all just ties into just this whole conglomerative effort to just make build a better life for people. One of these things that we're just not doing for ourselves. We're helping people. We people helpers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is so amazing to have you all on this call, and it's one of the things that gives me a lot of it's a sense of pride and a lot of joy, is because there is a meaning. There is a meaning to this conversation. Yes, we are all zooming in, we are streaming it, we are talking about helping people together, but there actually is a system behind it. There is a meaning behind it. We talked with Ryan about having the upward spiral of positive effects that can be a benefit to you, because instead of focusing on a situation where you have a lot of things happening at the same time to put you down, which happens to a lot of us, we many times can actually take control, stop like a martial artist, and then react with a specific course of action will help us step by step improve, get better, get treatment one way or another. Martial arts is a form of treatment as well. So I am very, very blessed to have all of you here and many other amazing providers in this Doctors Networking group. I want to thank you for joining today. I want to thank you for watching. And I want to just come to a conclusion together that martial arts and healthcare, we talk about them as two separate things. And they're not, because martial arts is part of healthcare. And that's the beauty of it, because, being able to use one in the context of another gets you the benefits that you deserve. I think everybody deserves to have a happy life, fulfilled life, meaningful life. And that's what we are about here. I want you watching, if you're a provider, or if you're an individual looking for clinical solutions, just remember about this call. Remember people on the screen and connect. And definitely in the context of today, connect with Alvin, because Alvin has so many ways to help you. You may be here in Maryland, and then he can literally train you physically if you're here. But even if you are in Australia watching this, maybe 2 years later, you can still connect. You can ask a question, and with a question, good energy, good advice can come to you, and maybe we're going to be able to figure out a health problem. You never know. Yeah. So wishing everyone a very good day, and thank you so much for joining. Dr. Todd, Ryan, obviously Janan, such a pleasure to have you here as a surprise guest. You came on board and you gave so much value on clinical. I definitely would love to invite you for a separate meeting so we can get more of what we heard today. And a huge thank you, Instructor Alvin Plummer. Oh my God, what a pleasure. See you in the next one.